Remember when this was the best delivery method for music? Remember when this was the best delivery method for supplements? Every industry evolves and improves with new breakthroughs in science and technology. Here at Numi, we've used a proprietary technology to solve an issue that's been around since nutritional supplementation began: the problem of absorption. So many of today's supplements are less effective due to their inability to be absorbed naturally by the body. Using our own proprietary Hydrostat Nano Delivery breakthrough, we reduce the particle size of critical nutrients smaller than ever before, allowing them to absorb in your mouth while swishing for 30 seconds or more. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It's responsible for boosting your energy, detoxifying cells, reducing inflammation, and boosting the immune system. If glutathione is so amazing, why have you never heard of it? Because glutathione is extremely fragile, and if taken orally, it will be destroyed via the digestive process, rendering it virtually useless to the body. Until now, NutraSwish applies nanotechnology to achieve maximum absorption. Now, glutathione and other nutrients can be absorbed simply and quickly by swishing in the mouth instead of being destroyed in the stomach. Using this same nanotechnology, we've created the ultimate skincare product, Numi Skin. We've been able to achieve unparalleled absorption for key ingredients, including collagen, hyaluronic acid, and more. Some of the top skin experts in the world work together to create the ultimate blend of skin-enhancing nanonutrients, creating the most amazing before and after results. With our nano solution, you no longer have to wait months to experience the effects of skincare and supplementation. Our customers are noticing a difference within a matter of days. Don't wait to look, feel, and live your best life. A new you starts with Numi.
Hi, welcome back to another Dr. Shante video. This video is basically sharing what I do for general health maintenance. Well, in addition to just eating healthy, I take supplements. I take them habitually. The first supplement on the list is a multivitamin. A good multivitamin from A to zinc. That is what I take. I take it in the form of a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, but a multivitamin is suffice. The next thing is I take omega-3. I don't do the fish oil cap. I do this in a liquid because this is one of the 3 macronutrients that we need, right? We need carbohydrates, proteins, fatty acids. Okay, that's how I do that. In addition to taking a probiotic, I take prebiotics. I may take the prebiotics more frequently than the probiotics, and I can go over later the why to that. And I also take digestive enzymes. Those are the main things I take. Additional supplements that I take a superfood powder, and I have this much of water inside of the bottle before I put like 1 or 2 teaspoons of that powder in there. I'll make a separate video talking about it because it has so much benefit, but this is also something that I use on a daily basis. The definition of a holistic view is that all aspects of people's needs, psychological, physical, and social, should be taken into account and seen as a whole. Holistic relationships is leading the charge and sparking real conversations that transcend the ordinary, aiming not only to explore life's intricate facets, but also to inspire positive change and cultivate better approaches to every topic we touch. In the realm of love and relationships, marriage and divorce, parenting struggles and single parenting triumphs, toxic relationships, and the liberating journey out of codependency, our goal is crystal clear. We are architects of change, crafting blueprints for better, more holistic relationships that stand the test of time. This isn't just a show or podcast. It is a movement. Each show is an invitation to recalibrate one's perspective, to rethink conventional norms, and to embark on a journey towards a more fulfilling life. From the nuanced dance of co-parenting to the empowering pursuit of self-confidence, we are here to guide you towards positive transformation, empowerment of self and others, setting goals, building legacies, and collecting fortune with purpose. Holistic relationships is more than a show, it's a philosophy. We navigate the complex terrain of aging gracefully and achieving optimal health and weight loss, shedding light on compatibility in relationships, and imparting wisdom on the art of dating and courtship. Join us as we forge a community committed to positive change, where every conversation is a catalyst for growth, every revelation is a step towards understanding, and every piece of advice is a key to unlocking a more holistic and fulfilling life. Welcome to Holistic Relationships, where the pursuit of better, more meaningful connections begin, and positive change is not just encouraged, but celebrated. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Holistic Relationships. Topic today. Question. Women, ladies, do we still want to be traditional wives? Do we still want to be traditional wives? So I've been thinking about a lot of things that I've been seeing over the years on social media as it relates to women and what is it looking for? What are you looking for? I just posed a question. Do you still want to be a wife in the traditional sense? That woman that becomes a wife and mother and lives to take care of her husband, children, her family? That's the question. Do women still want to do that? Young ladies, do you aspire to do that? Now, I am not trying to block out anyone that's 35 and older. I'm not trying to ignore you in that sense. That's not the intention here. It's not to be dismissive of that group, my group. I just think the approach to speaking to people that's in my age group and my generation and the one prior, the millennials or Gen X, we just got some more conversations to have because I have my other thought process as far as what's going on there. I'm just looking at Gen Z, the young people. Do you want families, a family structure anymore in this life? Do you want to live to be the spotlight? because I do have a holistic relationship topic about social media not being real. It's just a illusion. It's not a real life or real existence where you just live to post all the highlights of your life and look at everyone else's highlights. When people are going through all kinds of stuff, their cars are getting booted, they get tickets, they're getting pulled over by the police, they're getting robbed, they're getting demoted, they're getting fired, they're getting written up at work, there are warnings about their job performance, their foreclosure type of situations, their cars are being repossessed, they're being diagnosed with cancer, they're being diagnosed with high blood pressure, being diagnosed with diabetes, they have some type of infection, pneumonia, they are into some type of rehabilitation, maybe in a car accident or something, their pelvic bones got crushed, they got spinal cord injuries, they're in physical therapy, they're going through divorce court, they are going through bankruptcy court, that process. They are in court for child custody cases. They're in court for domestic disputes. They're being arrested for domestic disputes and abuse. They're in auto shops because the cars are breaking down. They have to get the tires replaced out here. They need oil changes. They need groceries. The price of food and went up. They need to be able to feed themselves and feed their families. And then at the same time, wondering why they're gaining weight because of all of that stress. Their parents are dying. No one has life insurance policies. They're raising money and they're on social media trying to raise money for GoFundMe pages so that people can help contribute to burying that loved one. That's life. That is the compilation of what life is comprised of. And I'm not trying to be on the negative and pointing out those things, but we have to just, if we take any random social media page out here of someone that just makes it seem like their life is all good just based off what they're posting, that's not true. Yeah, it's bull, right? That's not real. The things that I've mentioned, the trials and the tribulations of life, those are the things that are real. Those are things that people are going through on the day-to-day. They're not out here just living their best life on trips on the time at the best restaurants, dressing. And those who wants to post all of that, more power to you. But that's not life and it's not death. It doesn't say anything much. It really doesn't. Doesn't say that you have any type of qualities or that you're a good person. I'm only saying this to say that when we're looking at it like that, and because again, Gen Z grew up on all of this nonsense. People following themselves with cameras and doing this, and everything that they do is on social. Everything that they do, they're posted it. They're checking in everywhere. And I should also say, don't look at celebrity life. I am talking to the working everyday people, the everyday person. Young ladies, the ones that come from broken homes or non-broken homes, that come from two-parent homes, that come from single-parent homes, that's graduating from high school and trying to figure out what their life is going to be. What do they want in this life? They've been given the gift of life by their mothers and fathers. What are you going to do in your life? If you're in college right now, you're trying to figure out what you want to do. Why are you even there? For what purpose? And I want to be able to share my own story and my own viewpoint in this point in time, because again, I came on the brink of a lot of this. So I'm in this in-between space, I feel. And I'm saying it because I remember having to do a paper on a typewriter. And I know that I've done papers on computers. I remember a rotary phone in my household. And I have one of the latest iPhones here. I've grown up through this. I wasn't already an adult when this happened. I was a child in adolescence coming through where technology. So let me give you my experience, ladies. Because when I asked the question of what you want to be, what do you want? What will be your purpose, your calling in this life? I know what you're hearing some of these female rappers say, entertainers say, and you're seeing this life and thinking that this is your life. But let me bring you back to civilization. Let's come back to civilization and what this is and what that dynamic is. When I was growing up, and this is just me telling my story, and I hope that some people have some parallels from it from their own lives and the things that they've seen, and maybe you could take someone like me that I feel has had a few walks of life in my 40 plus years, that I've had some experiences here along the way to illustrate that I do know what I'm talking about. I have some experiences under my belt, and I would like to share my story and share what I desire. Because I know that I may show up a certain way on social media, but you do have to know me, talk to me, get to know me, have a conversation with me, get to get into the psyche of what I wanted and why am I showing up this way. Because I really don't want it to be twisted. I didn't show up this way with a double doctorate, president and CEO and all this other stuff because that's just what I dreamed of being when I grew up. It kind of happened this way. And the more I got exposed to things and the more that I grew, the more that I started to have purpose and found a calling. That stuff came along when I made the decision to answer a call. I was called to duty. But let me tell you, when I was growing up, when I was a little girl, I wasn't groomed to be a CEO, a doctor. I was groomed to grow up, to become a wife and mother, and know how to take care of her home and her family. I grew up in a single parent home. I did. My mom did not work. We lived in public housing, the projects. She was able to get up every day and cook breakfast for me and my sister, take us to schools, pick us up from school, do homework with us. Now, the part where, it did suck living in the projects. It's dangerous. It really was. But I can tell you, I had some of the best experiences of my life, teachable experiences, things that made me strong, things that made me a survivor out here. Like I can spot bullish from a mile away. I can smell it because I've been there. Don't come for me. So I saw that. And that was a seed planted in me. And as a little girl, like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. This is the role that you have. And we're just going to put on the shelf for a second that gender roles can vary. And there are a lot of variables to this. Let's put that on the shelf because I'm aware of that. But I'm on a topic of right now because my concern is about women who are coming up and they're going through this cycle and they're going through school. And what else are they thinking about? What do you think your role is? Have you been exposed to this? If you have been exposed to the things that I'm getting ready to say, God bless you and good for you. But this is for those in case you haven't, in case no one told you, in case. Because let me tell you something too. I'm someone that felt like wow, some things weren't told to me in a way, but then in a different way, it kind of was. Let me explain that a little bit more. When Kevin Samuels was alive, there were certain things that I may listen to, and I didn't agree with everything he said. And I mean, and no one would, and no one does. But there were things that I was like, wow, women before me didn't tell me that. No one told me that. Some of them, they didn't tell me that. But not in that way. But guess what? When I go backwards in my mind and I think about my upbringing, they did because they showed it. We didn't have the conversations necessarily because, communication, that whole dynamic and learning to communicate effectively isn't something that it's learned. And so I watched the women of my family, and they may have had conversations with you when you were a kid. In my generation, it was like, go on in the back. Don't be standing around here, standing here while grown folks talking. So they're talking about certain things and issues that I think would be beneficial for girls to learn about. I mean, maybe not when they're 8, but certainly in teenage years and coming into, this is the time to start having those conversations with young ladies about life, about what it is they want to do. So I'm going to wrap that part up to show you my experience as a child and what I thought my role as a woman was going to be. As a female, born female, I don't want to get into the genders and the gender roles here and the self-identified genders. I also want to put that on a shelf too. We're going to put that over there as well. Another holistic relationship topic another day. Right now, I'm talking to the young ladies who are coming through this. I'm not saying that you're in high school, but you might catch this along the line if somebody might share this to you. But I am talking about those ladies that are of age, 18, they're going off to college maybe, or they're going off into the workforce, the working class. They're coming out, they're young, they're in their prime. What are you doing in this time right now for your life? Do you want to be that woman that's considered in a danger zone where you wake up one day that's you because of unrealistic expectations about the men you should be linking up with, or you should get this superstar guy who has all of this money and stuff, who's going to swoop you up like this Cinderella story and put you in this castle on an island, the things that Disney sold us on as little girls, that we were all princesses and that we would get it. And that's not a bad mindset to have, because you should carry yourself with grace, but your prince is going to have a different castle size in different areas, because your home could very well still be your castle. Home is where you make it. Luther Vandross had a song about a house not being in a home. You could pick anything, any one of those mansions that you see the rich and famous in, and it's empty and it's cold and it has that great look when you go in. In those movies, when they try to give you a certain feel of what this place is, they put in either a grayscale or green scale, where you're kind of looking at it like it could make you feel sad. And I'm here to tell you, there are places that are like that, homes that are like that. Home is what you make it, where you make it, and with whom you make it. So be real in your approach, because you can do whatever you want inside the boundaries of your own home. But ladies, what are you trying to be? What are you trying to be? Do you want to be wife and mothers? Because that's a very important job. I thank God that I had a mother that was home doing it every single day, because guess what it did? How it put in me to be able to get out here and excel the way that I did. I didn't know that I would come to be this. I did want to be a doctor though. But you know why I want to be a doctor? I wanted to be a doctor because I wanted to be able to take care of my husband and my children. I wanted to be able to know what to do if they got sick. I didn't want to be running around hysterical, like, oh my gosh, what to do, that you see often in emergencies. I remember one They said I had a seizure or something when I was young, and they had to rush me off to the. And I remember how hysterical everybody was. I mean, I was just laying there. I could still remember, and I could see, and it made me nervous about what was happening to me. But my point is, I wanted to be able to take care of my family. I wanted to do that. That's what I wanted my contribution to be. I never aspired to go be the chief medical director of some hospital. I didn't want to take that knowledge to become the chief medical director. And it's not a knock to those who do want it, because your dreams are your dreams. Dream big. Your dreams are your dreams. But the dream for me was to know how to do all of these things. For my family, the family that I wanted to have in this world and be a part of, I knew that I have to do this. And they taught me how to cook. And let me tell you something about when we're coming up, some of us, not all of us, in the world and realm of cooking. When I was trying to do the quick routes, because when I was in college, I was trying to do the little quick routes, the shortcuts, to cooking. Them Southern women was like, come here. Is that out the box? Is that out the box? Oh, no, baby. No, we make things from scratch around here. You're not a real cook if you can't make nothing from scratch. It's okay to know that, but do you know how to do this? Do you know what seasonings to put up in here? How long that they need to be cooking? Do you know how to do that? Now, as a healthcare professional, I would say that soul food is a cultural food which has no nutritional value whatsoever. I'm sorry to say this. I don't know who needs to hear this. However, I still eat it for Thanksgiving. It's not a Sunday dinner type of thing. It's not a weekly thing. I'm not going to put that in my body on a weekly basis, but it's definitely on special occasions, holidays, and on Memorial Day when they have barbecues and cookouts, you will catch me in a Canada Dry ginger ale. I love me that. I'm going to have that day. I may not buy it and put it in my house, but when I do go to barbecues and places and I sew up and I see that. Oh, she cracking that open and put that in the glass. It's nice. I don't care nothing about them nutritional labels when I'm going to get that Canada Dry. That's my thing. But the point is, I understand participating in our culture and the things that we hold dear as African American people. And I know how to make all that well. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I know how to throw my own. Now, most people don't know that about me. Most people may be able to see me. I remember making a lasagna one time. I was married and pregnant, and I even made the sauce. I didn't go buy the Prego. I made the sauce to this lasagna by boiling tomatoes and some other ingredients that I put in there. All fresh foods, fresh vegetables. In my cooking, and in any of my cooking, there is going to be fresh vegetables in there. Always. I'm cutting it up. Now, nowadays, I have devices to be able to do this faster because it could be exhausting to be able to do all of that. And then with food prep. But yeah, that's how I did it, and how I still do it. And I would do meals and prep it, and I would get the BPA-free Tupperware to be able to put it away and store it in the fridge so that there were different meals for different days. And that's my OCD kicking in. Sorry. But yes, I did have that little system. And then it was able to save on money, save on food. And when we wanted to go out and have, so that it could give me a break from having to do all of that, we were still able to do that. But that wasn't an everyday thing, people. Going out to fancy restaurants that's not when you're that person. And it's not that we were bad off. I was still a 6-figure earner doing all of that. But it was important about building our empire, building our savings, building our investments, and our investment portfolio. Those were the things that I had to strengthen that. I let my husband lead the charge. Hey, I always checked in. Hey, what do you want to do here? And I'd be like, hey, I recommend that we do this, if we do this, which one do you want to do? Or how do you want me to do this? What do you want me to do? There is power in submission, ladies. I'm not saying you got to be a yes-er, because by no means am I a yes-er. But I did give him that head. And we did well for the time that we were there. Because even in that, guess what? I made all the decisions. In hindsight, all I did was just it's one of those things for pharmacists. This is what we have to do. I'm gonna give you this story here. When you're in pharmacy, you see that the script is wrong, the dose is wrong, or a situation where the patient's insurance isn't covering that medication. And now we got to go figure out what's in the formulary. But first, we got to know the diagnosis so we can go and see what's going to be a comparable medication. And it may be a completely different class of medications, but what's going to be comparable to the diagnosis, then what's also going to be covered by the patient's insurance. And once we learn what that is, the next step, because we have to do this legally, the next step was to call the medical doctor, have the conversation with the medical doctor, tell them this is what's going on, this is my recommendation, this is why, once we discover what the diagnosis is. So of course they're on the phone, we're talking to them about it, and we're telling them, yes, I need to know the diagnosis. They tell you the diagnosis, and okay, well, here are the options to switch over to. And they'll say, well, which one? We'll do this one. Well, what's the dose? And then we'll say, okay, well, the dose is this. And then there are some doctors that, knew their craft, where if it was something that they weren't familiar with, they would basically defer to us. They would have to acquiesce to what us and let us guide them on the proper dose of medications. And a lot of times in hospitals, they'll write on the script, pharmacy to dose, and they'll send everything down, pharmacy dose. And so that's how we would do that. Then we'll send it back up. But the fact that the conversation has to take place, and then I have to write down what we're talking about, get their name, their initials, sign it, date it, put my initials there, and then make the change. That person, that medical doctor, had nothing to do with all the research I did, figuring out what's on the formulary and what's going to be able to do this and dosing and all that. And so that it was somewhat affordable and that something was applied to the medication costs from their insurance. That's what we had to do as pharmacists. We weren't just standing there counting our fives. There was a lot of things that we need to do the public isn't necessarily aware of. But, we just needed that person's stamp of approval. And they were going to follow our lead anyway because we're the drug experts. And that's understood between RMD and the medical doctor. Okay, they know. So it's the same thing I'm trying to say there. I gave that example to show you ladies that especially when you, and a lot of times, you would be in control. You're like the chief of staff to the president. They may be the president, but you're the chief of staff. You're the one advising. You're the one influencing. You're right there in their ear. So you don't have to think of yourselves in a less than role or capacity just because you chose to submit. Now, I ain't saying being a fool and a slave and just be an idiot, because no man worth his value wants a stupid woman. He just want to be respected, loved, but they don't want you stupid. So it's okay if you got a little education, but if you're willing to put that education behind them. See, I used my education behind my person. I wanted someone to be of value to a husband. I didn't just want to be a pretty face. I wanted to be someone of value. So I do all of that stuff so that I will learn about life and learn some things and know something and be able to teach children something one day. Our children, who's the one taking care of these kids? Now, you got some great men that have some great nurturing abilities, and that's a skill that they have. But society has placed that they got to go get that back. And that's why I said the gender roles and the who stays home with the kids versus who goes out, that's going to be different in different households. So I'm not talking about those non-traditional roles. And that's why I put that on the shelf earlier, because I know that exists. I know some people out there where, men out here that's raising their kids and the women are going to get the bag. I've seen that in my time. I am just saying, in a typical fashion for those ladies out there, what do you want? Do you want to be wives and mothers anymore? And this is why you need to be. And if you choose to go to school and to be educated, yes, I did. Also, there was a part of me, there's a flip part to this. My mom was in a long-term relationship. At times, and I don't know when this has started, if it was always a part of the relationship or if it just came, but I grew up into noticing that in that particular relationship where he was verbally and at times physically abusive, but because she didn't make any money on her own and didn't have really that much of, past a high school education, she was at the mercy of that man. He often talked down to her. I mean, his mind wasn't right. Yeah, he was just messed up. And, a lot of people are traumatized. We just got a lot of trauma in our community, just people, period, and civilization. But what that did is tell me as a little girl that I still needed to be able to have my own, and to be able to take care of myself. Because why would you stay in a place with your children, no less, to a person who's abusive, to a person that's making your life miserable, that they're just not being good to you as a human? They have problems. You have to leave. And I'm not saying that was my mom's situation entirely or in totality, but I'm talking just in general. So I had all of that, my education and my doctorate and my ability to be able to be an earner. That was supposed to be a backup. It was never the main focus for me, because I had already grew up and the seed had already been planted in me, as I understood the world to be, that my role was to grow up to be a wife and a mother and be in the home, taking care of that home, taking care of that man, taking care of those children, raising those children. That's what I thought my role was supposed to be. But the education that I saw, it was supposed to be a means to helping my family, assisting my family, never to tell that man that I was better than him. That's not why it was there. It was there for me to be an asset to that man, not to be in competition with him, not to antagonize him. It was to be able to work with him and be of value, have a front where I could do something. And if I gave him the opportunity to lead and he was about to lead us off a cliff, I had enough common sense to be like, okay, come on, kids, let's do this. Yeah, I thought you was, because you could try to see what you know, but you're not going to know everything in a matter of a couple of years. In fact, you may not know much of anything in a year and a half time, because it doesn't take very long to get married. I think we were dating like a year and a half. And then he was like, let's get married. And I'm like that. But anyway, that is what I'm saying. That's what that was for me. I wanted to be an asset to my man, and I wanted to be able to take care of my family medically. I wanted to be able to, if we did have to go to hospital, I wanted to be able to be knowledgeable about what was going on and not just be a hysterical woman in there. I wanted to be able to be wise and make informed decisions about their lives and their life. Because that's what I used to always see in our community. Like, why? Everybody keep getting sick. What is this? Why is this the age that everybody? And I used to have those questions as a child. I mean, I used to think about that kind of stuff. That is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be no model, because I just didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be an entertainer. I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to dance. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to be able to be an asset to my family. Someone that they not only loved and needed, but that they valued and respected. And that my contribution to that family meant something. But that was just me thinking of it as a young child and young woman. But now that I am a mother, oh my God, it's huge, people. And you really do need to be all in. Whatever it is that you want to do. And I do have another holistic relationship topic about this. When to have children. What's a good time? Because the sacrifice that you're getting ready to make the minute you you bear that man's child to your own life, to your dreams, because it does become about them. And it can take years for you to figure out how to be happy again for yourself, because that man and that child isn't going to be able to make you happy. You see what I'm saying? You've gave up a lot for the two of them, but they can't make you happy though. So you have to still find happiness, still have a place of contentment, even in that. What does that look like? So again, that's another holistic relation topic, another day. But I am just saying this to say, do you still want to be? Because you're needed. You're needed. The person that's the breadwinner, when they go out there to get that bag and they come back, they're mentally tired. They're physically exhausted. What you need to be is you need to be able to create a place and space. Because when you come through the borders of your home, come within those walls, they need to be a place of peace and tranquility. Because you're already fighting the minute you walk out the door. And what I wanted to do, because I got a little clean about it now that I had kids, all this stuff, I kind of relaxed, but now I'm getting back to it. Now my son's starting to learn, his mama like things clean. She don't like germs. She don't like me with my outside clothes on my bed and everything. And I gotta take my shoes off at the door. He learning that now. He was younger and a baby and a kid. I was like, I ain't gonna worry about it. But now that he's old enough, no, son, this is what we do here. I got air purifiers and stuff here. No, we ain't getting sick. If we got to be up here, we ain't gonna be sick. No. So I used to do things when I got out of pharmacy school and I was doing it. It was a period of time where I was doing a break, but I knew I was going back to school, but it was just part of my plan. I used to host dinners and do things in my house, and people would come and eat, and you would have fun, and we're listening to music, and we're talking, and those type of stuff. Only people that I knew that I trusted and cared about could come to my house. I would throw parties and things, and a lot of things that people would eat, I cooked it. Some people knew that I could, but they was like, what would you cook? And I remember when things got busy in my life and it changed, and I stopped cooking and hosting dinners. Your friends would call me, hey, you doing anything? Are you cooking? And so I'm trying to get back to that now. But yeah, but most people might see me on that social profile, and I'm all like, and yes, that's just our personality, but that's not all of who I am. There's no idea that she was up in here serving food on a tray to her husband. No idea about that. Well, I figure, you finna go out here and do all of this. I can cook. I can make sure his clothes are clean, fold them up, keep the house clean, keep it being like clean spaces. They do, ladies. They may mess it up more than you, but they do like it. They like it to be clear. And they eat. After having a son and a former husband, they can eat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they eat. So yeah. I would prefer healthier food choices. I used to get into a little bit over why you gotta eat all that sugar. But anyway, it was coming from a place of love. That was coming from a place of care. I know you guys have probably seen my Dating and Diet holistic relationship show on Dating and Diet. And if you haven't, go check it out. But it is. And if I can just kind of tell my story, and I've kind of told my story in a sense in that way, from the standpoint of being brought up as a young lady and what I thought my role was supposed to be, coming to be a young woman, and they're going, oh, wow, that is what your role is. And you actually do want that role. And we used to try to, some of my friends, when we were in med school, pharmacy school, we would be together, swapping recipes to get what we were trying to do. We were trying to catch a man. Because we were told that way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I get it. There's many other factors involved of why men love you, but nonetheless, That's what we were told. And then we're like, oh my God, I gotta know how to cook. Oh my God, I can't just look good. I can't just be smart. I gotta know how to cook. So we over here trying to figure out how to, and it was a little bit of competition with that too, who do it better. But because the goal is to get you a man. The goal was to be chosen. The goal was to get the man, get the husband. Yes. Now you felt accomplished. You felt like, okay, cool. He chose me. Now we're dating. We're dating. Okay, we're having a good time. But you also kind of like, but that wasn't for me because even that wasn't my case. Because even when the suggestion of marriage came much, I was like, really? Right now? I don't know, maybe it's a thing with commitment, but I also understood what they meant. Even not ever having been a wife before, I still understood what that was. I didn't take that lightly, and I wasn't so hasty and jumping there because to me that was a huge role, huge responsibility. Because I knew what we went next. I would be expected to bear children, and I knew, oh, I got this little bitty waist, a little cute little waist, little bitty stomach, like, oh, I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming after that. Okay, you got the man. Now he wants you as your wife. Okay, he's going to want children. All right. And then we had those conversations. He would say, well, I want you to be at home. And respectfully, I would say, okay, while the children are young, I will make sure they have everything they need. I will make sure you have what you need. I will be at home. I will be the mother and wife at home. The only thing that I ask that I can still practice medicine part-time. I still love the craft of medicine and helping and healing people. I still loved it. It gave me an identity outside of being someone's wife and someone's mother. And I cherished and loved that. But remember, ladies, it's still a sacrifice. So it's okay to have something for yourselves, but know why you're doing it. You're doing it so that, because when those kids grow up, your man, your breadwinner, he out there doing his thing, living his life, and then he's going to want to do things outside of you. But when you give up everything, now you're looking to them, your gesture. You're looking for them to be your entertainment. So all of the education and the things that I've bestowed on ladies was for me to have something of my own. For me to still have an identity outside of being someone's woman, wife, and mother. Because when the kids grow up and they get their friends and they're doing their own things, what are you going to be left with to do? And I wasn't fit to be running up after him to see what he was doing. Like this before, I was somebody. Yes, but I still wanted us to be able to go places and do. I actually wanted us to be married to each other for a year or two before we started having kids. But he was right on in. And so I was like, sometimes they want it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I understand that with children come into play, children, it's you two against them damn kids. But now they're a joy, and I love it. They're a joy. But it does put a strain on the romance, it put a strain on the relationship and things like that. So you want to keep that in mind as far as the when you want to introduce that in. 30 is a good age to be considering children. If you're in your 20s, live your life, enjoy yourselves. Because I had a lot of friends when we were in our 20s, they had kids young. And while I was going around, bouncing around, doing what I wanted to do, there may have been a little level of resentment because they couldn't do that. Now they're free. They're free now that we're in our 40s because their kids have grown up, moved out the house, gone off to college, But they ain't as thin and fit and as they once were, so, some, not all, not trying to fit folks. But I'm thinking, would you have rather have done it, be able to do that back when or now? And then of course you love your children. So, we don't have any type of regrets when it comes to that. Ladies, do you still want to be a wife and a mother? And when you go to get your things, and it's okay to be able to take care of yourself, but your mindset about why you're doing it should not be that you fit to show this man up. You're supposed to be his asset. You're supposed to be his prize. That is what I believe. And that's what I believe in what I should have been. Of course, this message is going to be received by everyone. But for those of you that never thought about it quite like this, maybe you see some parallels within my story and your own. Maybe you see some parallels between me and yourself. And maybe you can take some of the little trinkets and things that I've shared about my life and my experience and what that's come to be. And maybe that can help you reshape your journey or to shape your journey as you don't want to wake up 45, 40 this, 40 that, and you've never once experienced that. You haven't had children, you haven't been married, you haven't had those things. And it's not a knock to people who, unfortunately, or maybe they chose to do that. Because success is how you define it. If that is what you want, then yes, that's perfectly fine. To each their own. But for those of you who want it, number one, make the decision that you want it. You want it? Cool. Now, you need to know what you need to do to go get it and to have it. Make sure you stay looking your best, your absolute best. Yes, you are a princess. Carry yourself like one, but be a humble princess. You're not better than the next person or your prince. Some men, they want that other kind, but you also gotta be that other kind. She needs to be your personality or your alter ego, because I tell you, I didn't get proposed to simply because I cooked, cleaned, and went to church. But I'm gonna leave it there. Just think about that. All right. Feel free to leave comments, questions, concerns. If you want to reach out to me and talk to me about some things, that's fine too. I welcome that. I got some experience. I got some things to share, and I don't mind, because I want to see the generation behind me better than that of my own and the one prior to me, because that's the whole point of holistic relationships, because we want to achieve better relationships outcomes, more fulfilling lives. That's what this is about. To pass something down to the generation behind us, the people coming up behind us, so that they can just get it just a little bit better than we did. So I thank you guys for joining me on this topic today on holistic relationships. We're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I will see you all on the next holistic relationship topic. I'll see you next time.